weekend. Welcome to the show. Colonel MacGregor joins us again. Colonel, my deep and profound gratitude for your coming back on the show, having already been on this week, but events are happening very quickly, some of which you pointed out to me, and for the discussion of all of which we, the viewers and I, are deeply grateful. We have a number of things to discuss. A Turkish flotilla of 1,000 boats is making its way to the shores of Gaza. President Putin has told BRICS and other leaders that the violence in Gaza has to stop or it's going to extend, and there's even a bit of a warning there for unnamed Western forces that he believes want to exacerbate things. And as we speak, a car has exploded at the Canadian United States border, and the FBI is all over it. It is not known if this is an accident or if this is an act of terror. We need to know more about it before the show is over. Let's start with the flotilla. How can you put together 1,000 boats, and what is the goal of this, and how reminiscent, Colonel, is it of what happened in 2010 when Israeli commandos killed Turkish sailors?
Well, it's not reminiscent in one sense. This is much larger than what went forward in the past. The Turks have tried to provide humanitarian aid to Gaza on several occasions. The Israelis have frequently embargoed, especially from the sea, anything going in or coming out of Gaza. And so in 2010, some IDF commandos landed on board the ship, and as you pointed out, 10 people were killed, and some of them were Turkish soldiers. They were all Turkish citizens, and that had a really terrible impact in Turkey. It really shook the whole nation. It could not understand why it was necessary to use deadly force to stop that humanitarian aid from reaching Muslim Arabs in Gaza. This is much larger, and we need to understand what this is about. This is not an accident. Mr. Erdogan probably had this round in the chamber ready to fire. And what he's doing is, it's not so much Israel. Clearly, he wants to send aid to Gaza. That's indisputable. Makes good sense. But what he's really doing, Judge, is that he's saying something to us. And what he's saying is this. We know that once we launch this flotilla, that we are likely to have problems with the Israelis, who are probably going to try and stop us from getting through. We expect that. The question is, Washington, D.C., President Biden, Senate and House, what are you going to do? Are you going to let this train wreck in Gaza continue down the tracks until it crashes at the bottom of a long, deep ravine? Or are you going to finally pick up the phone and say, enough, no more, it's got to stop? And we don't know yet. What we know, is, as I've said before, and I think others have pointed this out, that right now, the single most powerful political figure and decision maker in Washington, D.C. is Mr. Netanyahu, not Mr. Biden, nor anyone in the Senate or the House. In fact, the Senate and the House are falling all over each other to provide Mr. Netanyahu anything he wants, to do whatever he wants. I don't know what Mr. Biden really thinks, and we've talked about that before. So the question is, what about it? Are we going to stop the train wreck? Are we going to try and keep this from going completely off the rails and exploding, which is really what Mr. Putin is saying is going to happen? Or are we going to do nothing and leave it to Mr. Netanyahu to decide?